everyone, it's Hayes. In today's video we're going to be ranking all of the Miraculous Ladybug specials. Now when I say special, I'm only talking about the full length ones. We are not, for the purpose of this video, going to be doing the Christmas special, the environment special, the weird airline special. That was a fun time. Just like the full length specials. So for this I mean New York, Shanghai, Tokyo, Paris and London. You can already tell it's going to be at the bottom. However, first of all, of course, as always, this is going to be my own opinion. If you disagree with me, that is fine. I am not expecting any of you to wholeheartedly agree with me in this video, okay? I am 110% expecting it, in fact. So please don't worry, okay? You are entitled to your own opinion, you absolutely are. Please don't even worry about it. All I ask that when you're disagreeing with me or disagreeing with other people in the comments as you're talking to them, if they have different opinions to you also, all I ask is that you remain kind and respectful. You can hold a different opinion to someone else without having to insult them whilst you're expressing it. Thank you. And second of all, I will need everyone's opinions on my hair. I am trying to wear my hair more naturally. I think the natural texture of it is wavy, but I don't know. Because for years I never really knew how to do my hair because no one in my family, for whatever reason, seems to have the same hair texture as me. Don't know why. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but I would like everyone's opinions. Do you think it looks okay? Because I'll be going to work tomorrow with my hair like this. Do you think it looks okay? Do you think I look presentable? What do you think? Because I don't know. Okay, I feel like I have makeup and skincare down, but when it comes to hair, I don't really know what I'm doing. So just any thoughts and opinions would be marvellous. Anyway, let's get into it. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna start from 5th place to 1st place, and in last place, unfortunately, is the London special, or as I like to call it, Recreation Part 2, Recreation the Extended Edition, because not much of it takes place in London, okay? Now, I don't mind, right, the other specials, they tend to open in Paris and then they get to the destination. That would be fine, okay? I don't mind it opening in the murder basement, I have no problem with that. But when they get to London, okay, London is shown, I think, twice, from my memory, in this special. And you just see like the iconic skyline on the Thames, like right in the centre of London where the Houses of Parliament are, Big Ben and London Eye. And by the way, Big Ben, if you don't know, because you're probably like, if you're not from the UK, Big Ben isn't that big. Why is it called Big Ben? It's not. It's called Elizabeth Tower. The bell inside is called Big Ben because the bell is humongous. But Big Ben is far more fun to say than the Elizabeth Tower. So everyone just calls it Big Ben, okay? And at one point, they do absolutely get things in the wrong position. Now, I know they're not British, I know they are a French team, but like there are, you know, Google images that show you this pretty iconic skyline. It's not like an obscure country that people don't know about. You know what I mean? It's pretty recognisable if you've never been to London before. So that's the first thing that annoyed me. The second thing is they don't really spend a great deal of time in London. I know like the big fight does take place in London, but it's inside. It wouldn't have mattered if it took place in London or in Paris or in, I don't know, Istanbul. Random place at the top of my head. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have mattered. Whereas like the New York special, the Shanghai special, they are all completely rooted in the locations they are named after. Not much was actually happening from the London part, the London special. Is the London in the room with us? The answer was no, because she wasn't there. And then second of all, even if we ignore all the London stuff or the absence of London stuff, I just think the writing was really poor. It was just the pacing and the structure. Everything had the same tone to it pretty much. I understand it was depressing because Gabriel had just died and whatever, I get it. But because of that depressing nature, the depressing tone of the special, it makes the whole special drag. Okay, I know it's only like, what, 45 minutes? But it feels like 2 hours whenever I go and watch it. Like, it's the same problem I had with Derision. Derision, 22 minutes episode, but because there isn't really a tone change in Derision, it feels like the episode is about an hour long. Like when I sit down to do my episode commentaries, I film the reaction and then I rewatch it without the camera on, I take my notes and then I sit down to do the commentary. Okay, that's how my mornings go on a new episode day. By the time I finished rewatching Derision for the second time after I'd taken my notes, it felt like it was about 3 PM because of how long that episode felt like it was, because it dragged so much. It was just no, the tone was completely off. I just really think they shouldn't have done a special then. I really think the finale should have been recreation and then the London special made into a normal episode length instead of calling it the London special. No, because I think it would have served much better as a regular episode with that awful tone all the way through that didn't change at really any point. And also, at some point, Lila gets the butterfly miraculous. How? I don't know. And I know Thomas has gone on to say like, oh, it doesn't really matter. Mate, I know you don't like me, but it does in fact matter to me. I would really like to know how she got it. I would like to see it. I don't mind if it didn't happen in the special. I would have liked to have seen it this season. I would still like to see it. I'd like to see it before I die. Okay. I don't mind if we see it next season. I would just like to see it. Please, it is important to me. It might not be important to you, but it is really important to like literally everyone who isn't you. So please, can we see it? Anyway, there were some things I did enjoy about the special. I enjoyed an angry Adrian. I'm always down for Adrian to get angry. That was great. And I did really enjoy towards the end of the special where Chronobug is doing the cool fight scene where she's going in and out the portals. I think that looked excellent. But overall, I just do not find the special enjoyable. It doesn't really have many redeemable qualities. And why was it even called the London special? I don't know. Because it was not in London. I know it technically was, but like, no. You know what I mean? No. Absolutely not. And now in fourth place, and everyone is about to hate me because I know this is everyone's favourite special unless your name is Hayes Clark. And my name is indeed Hayes Clark. And I do hate this one. And that is the Pirate special / the Reverse special. Now when I tell you we were getting the trailers for this, I was so excited. I was gearing up for this one to be my favourite one, okay? I was so excited. Okay, to me this was like, it's gonna be like the science fiction special, okay? And if you don't know, I'm a published science fiction author and I have a PhD in science fiction, okay? I love science fiction, all right? Love it, okay? I have a doctorate in it. That's how much I love science fiction. So I was excited. So perhaps the reason I hate it, or one of the reasons I hate it, is fueled by how much I was looking forward to it. And it was absolutely awful. Maybe, but I was just like, eh? No. First of all, the world building. Terrible. One thing when you're writing science fiction is if you have to have really good world building, okay? And this had a terrible world building because apart from like one detail, they just told you everything, which isn't how you're supposed to do science fiction world building. You have to show everything. For example, there's this one brilliant moment in the special, the best part of the special, and it is a flashback. So it's when Reverse, Marinette and Adrian are in regular Marinette's bedroom. Ladybug takes his Miraculous off him and she tries to combine them, and then when Reverse Adrian sees Reverse Marinette, he has like a little bit of a flashback and there's no dialogue, and you see him in Reverse Paris. He's in the car, his bodyguard has gone into the bakery to get some, I would assume, chouquettes from Reverse Marinette. No word is said and he just sits in the car and smiles. That look tells you everything you need to know that Reverse Adrian is in love with Reverse Marinette, okay? No words are exchanged. The facial expressions and the way he sat shows you that he's in love with her, okay? Everything else in the special is just told to you. I'm like, no. What they should have done, they wanted this special to actually be good, is set it in Reverse Paris. And before anyone says, oh my god, Hayes, that would have been really expensive because of all the models they'd have to do for everyone, all the models of the settings to do to make it look different. I know it would have been expensive. So if you couldn't do it properly, you shouldn't have done it at all. Maybe that's harsh. But that's what I genuinely think. If you can't do science fiction properly, you can't do it justice, then you should not do it at all. Okay? Don't do it at all. And furthermore, this was like furthered by the fact there was no new world to explore. Like in the Tokyo special, like in the New York special, like in the Shanghai special. Everyone just stands around talking to each other because there's no new world to show them like, oh, we do this here, we do that here, this is how things are different or whatever. They just stand around and talk for the entire special. And don't get me wrong, the dialogue was good. Okay, I do think the dialogue was good. And I did really enjoy the dialogue between Cat Noir and Claw Noir in their final fight scene, and then Ladybug and Shadybug in their final fight scene. Thought it was excellent. But they just stand around and talk for the whole special. How is that entertaining? The answer is it's not. Okay, I do think Shadybug and Claw Noir and Hesperia are cool. They are cool. But it would have been even cooler if we actually got to see them in Reverse Paris instead of this Paris. We see this Paris every day in the show. I don't want to be here at the end. Show me somewhere different. I watch these specials to be shown somewhere different. not to go to the same place again and have another fight underneath the Eiffel Tower. We've done that about 64,000 times. And I would like to have a fight underneath the reverse Eiffel Tower to see how it's different, okay? Do I understand that it would have been expensive? Yes. However, do I also think you shouldn't have done the special if you couldn't do it properly? Yes. It just wasn't good. And if I wanted to watch a load of people stand around and talk to each other, I would just go to work, because that's all people do in the bookshop. So, you know what I mean? I don't want to sit down and spend my leisure time doing that. It wasn't very good. And just overall, there was such a lack of stakes. It was just so easy to win. You just talk to them, have a heartfelt discussion. Yeah, you won. Okay. The ending was cool though. I like the ending with Gabriel Babes and the Supreme and stuff. That was fun, but otherwise, no. So in third place is the most recent special, which is the Tokyo special. I really enjoyed this. I wasn't able to record a reaction to this because I had to go to work, and the day after I was going on holiday, so I had no time for a reaction, but I really enjoyed it. My PhD is also partially in Japanese literature. Basically, I was looking at how you can use the commentary feature of science fiction to address stigma around suicide, schizophrenia and psychosis in Japan. So I was using a bit of, like, my PhD was in science fiction, mental health and Japanese culture, basically. So I do know quite a bit of Japan, so perhaps I am a little bit biased, but I do genuinely find Japanese culture and just Japan in general and their history and stuff incredibly interesting, possibly because it is so different from the UK. I think that's possibly why, but I thought it was really good. So even though I did feel going into it I was going to enjoy it because I knew it was Japan, I was a bit like, Kagami's in it though, like featuring a lot, not just like in it a little bit, like she wasn't a London special, like she was like in the main character, her and Marinette were the main characters for the special. So I wasn't sure how I was going to enjoy it because, you know, I don't keep it a secret. She's not one of my favourite characters, however I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed her inclusion, although I'm a little bit unsure why she does hate Miki, other than perhaps their personalities clash a little bit. I don't really know, because you literally seem like the same people. And it also is very weird how Kagami, is it like in season 3? Is it like Oni-chan or something? Where she's like, oh yeah, I have no friends. Oh no, not Oni-chan. Ikari goes in the original one. She's like, yeah, I have no friends, to do the friendship day thing. But you had a whole group of friends when you were in Japan. Anyway, I really enjoyed the animation first of all. I don't know a great deal about animation, so I'm not going to harp on it too much personally. As just like a personal preference, I do prefer 2D animation to 3D animation, so I really liked it for that, and I loved the humour in the special. I thought it was really good. But in general, I felt like, for example, some things were just a bit too easy, like when they save Leo, Miki from the fish thing in the battle at the end. It just seemed a little bit of an easy save. Kazuno and Miki, I just thought the reason why they weren't together was stupid. Just get together, you absolute lunatics. And also the reason why Ladybug and Ryuko were there in the first place, I just thought was a bit of a... we just kind of shoehorned into that. I don't think it was a good enough motivation. However, I do love like the Neon Genesis Evangelion vibes it had to the special with big mechas. I love Neon Genesis, one of my favourite animes of all time. And of course, the ending. Amazing. I absolutely loved the ending to the special. I watched it on the train to work. Literally it finished as we pulled into the station. So my walk from the train station to where I work, I was absolutely buzzing for the rest of the day. My colleagues, I tried to explain to them what happened and they were like, we have no idea what you're talking about, and it was great. So in second place is the Shanghai special. I absolutely loved the Shanghai special. I loved all the lore and the history you get introduced to at the start, and I know you might be a bit like, okay, Hayes, you said in the reverse, they told too much. They tell a bit of the Shanghai special. Yes, they do, you are correct, but they do it in a traditional storytelling manner. You have visuals to accompany it. All the telling in the reverse special pretty much has no extra storytelling to accompany it. It's like Hesperia in the sewers, like, oh yeah, this happened. I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it then, mate. It really isn't comparable in my opinion. So I love finding out about the lore and all of that, and as well as other world building we got in the rest of the special. I absolutely adored Faye. She was the best. I love her so much. I really enjoyed her character development throughout the special, how she starts as someone who is arguably a bit of an unsavoury character because she does steal. I understand she steals to get violence. She needs to survive. She doesn't just do it because she's a horrible person, but it does make you come across as a little bit unsavoury if you are doing that. But then she goes through this character development where she gets the prodigious. She's not really sure if she can, you know, do it well enough that she can activate Lady Dragon and stuff. and the fight at the end is just amazing. It was so good. However, the reason why it's not top of the list, because I do think it's pretty much perfect, is that I really wish Marinette had been in Shanghai for a different reason that wasn't Adrian Agreste. Like, she says to her parents, obviously if you don't know, although I think most people do, Marinette is half Chinese. And you find out at the start that her parents have been saving up so they can take her to China, so they can introduce her, you know, to the other half of her roots, because I'm always assumed that Tom is French, so she seemingly lived in France her entire life. So they want to take her back to China to introduce her to the like other half of her identity. Why couldn't they have just done that? Why couldn't Marinette have been going to Shanghai for like spring break or whenever it's meant to be set? I've forgotten the timeline video. I forgot when I put this. Why can't they just do that? And then Adrian also happened to be going, and then they just happened to meet up, instead of having Marinette go there for Adrian. I just really feel that her first time in China should have been at the very least with her mum. I know she does meet up with her uncle there, she doesn't just go and she's completely alone, but like, I really wish it had been less about Adrian and more about Marinette's identity and her finding out different things about herself that perhaps she didn't know before. I think that would have been a lot more meaningful. So as much as I love Adrianette don't really get much content in the special until like literally like the last scene of the special. So I really wish I had a different focus instead of Marinette trying to get with Adrian, and more about her identity instead. I think that would have been a lot more meaningful. So in first place, in my personal opinion, the best special at the minute is the New York special. The New York special is so heckin' good. There were so many new characters, but it doesn't feel crowded or too rushed. It was just an absolute perfect balance between the characters we all know and love and the new characters. And the world building in this special was excellent. If you want to know how to do world building well, ignore the Rebirth special and please turn your attention to the New York special. All the differences between the heroes in Paris and the heroes in New York were shown absolutely brilliantly. At no point did I ever felt like I was being patronised or talked down to. It was just so well realised, so well rounded. The plot of it was amazing, incorporating both French and American history and their relationship together with Lafayette's. Absolutely great, and I think it had a great emotional balance. So I was saying before with the London special, it's the same tone all the way through. New York special absolutely does not have that problem. It kind of starts off a bit bittersweet because they're not sure how New York is going to be, then it ends up being quite funny, and then we have a bit of romance, and then we get a bit of tragedy, what's going on with Aeon, where Cat Noir basically murders her. And then Adrian leaves, so it's kind of more tragic, but then it becomes heroic by the end. It was just such a perfect balance and journey with the emotions, whereas the London special is just all one when New York is like, hey, that's how it should be. Keep you going. It helps the pace. New York special feels like it takes place over 15 minutes because the emotions are just so well done. They change often enough, but not so often you're getting whiplash. So good. However, even though I love it, I don't think it's perfect. As much as I love the Adrianette in the special, okay, and I do love it, Alia and Nina, what were you thinking? Okay, I hate Lucina and Adragami as much as the next person, but your two friends are in relationships with other people. Why were you basically trying to get them to cheat on them with each other? Like, I'm all for getting Adrianette together, and if Marinette wasn't with Luca and Adrian wasn't with Kagami at this time, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it, let's go. What? It was just bizarre. So I was like, yeah, it's cute, but why are we doing this? Seems a bit insane to me. But anyway, that is my ranking. I know you're all going to disagree with me. I know you're all going to put Paris first, and that's fine. I made my peace with it when it came out and I saw everyone saying, oh my god, it's amazing, and I was like, no. But it's totally fine. If you have that opinion, I would still love to know what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!